some lines being inspired. I myself tried some things out earlier, and suffice to say, there was a lot of pace in that. But yeah, we will have to see about this. Obviously, NA is much harder to do than with line, and as if any of you do know me, you know I'm a line merchant, so yeah, not really a fair statement to say, but Adam will get us going, coming around through the Peraltada and onto the back straight, keeping it nice and wide, but does kind of cut in through the final corner. And now powering down the main straight. We do want to keep an eye out for the top speed here, because this could indicate whether people are running high or low wings. And in this instance, it looks like Adam's running decently low, braking quite late as you can for turn 1 here, nipping the inside curve for turn 2, and the same for turn 3, onto the exit of the straight. Hitting the DRS zone quite nicely, with the first sector being basically just 2 straights. You're gonna use a lot of battery. Ooh, has a bit of a snap there through turn 4, leaving him a bit tight for turn 5. Double apex right-hander at turn 6 gets it in nicely, and pretty decent traction on exit as well. Excuse me, I've done this for a while. All right through the S section. Nice and high speed, is flat, a little bit of a lift through there. In real life, it's a lot tighter, and hopefully that'll be addressed for the next game as well. With 58.4 through for the second sector, excuse me, third gear through the right hander there, second gear through the left-handing hairpin. Doesn't use the curve as a big slide out of there. Through the final corner and the Peraltada. Comes towards the line, keeps it nice and tight, and it's an 18.7 to kick us off. Obviously a lot of mistakes. I think Adam will want to get a better time on the board. I think Ryan next to the line, however, has invalidated the next Ferrari to the line. Will be Greg to start a lap. Then the Alpha Tauri of Tamino. The man is on PC, so he can use those curbs. What will Tamino pull out? Hits the D rate, only a 59. Have seen faster, but Mexico is one of those hard ones on NA, so you never know. He could yet pull it out the bag. Chivers pops it into P2 with a 17.3. JJ will be going for another lap, I presume. There's an Alpine coming to the line. I think that's J Clates to start a lap. If not, he's invalidated. That'll be Padge next to the line, and then the other Aston of that guy who will now run with. I think he might be doing race runs, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, the time isn't quite representative. Does put it half a tenth behind Chivers, so it's not a bad lap time. Haas next to the line of Adamski. He's going to come into the pit lane. Out of the way of Greg, though. Not as bad of a snap as Adamski had on his first run. Ryan comes around the final corner to start his lap, and Greg puts it P4 with a 17.8. In John John's stead, Greg is currently stepping up. However, with 5 people yet to set a lap time, could see him yet drop further down the field. There's the Aston of, I think that's JJ coming into the pit lane. Yes, it is. And the Alfa Romeo continues on. That's Ayahuasca starting a lap. Ooh, wait. Who do we need to go with? Ryan. Yeah. Apologies. Yeah. As I said before, haven't really done this for a while, so. And my brain is a bit out of whack from today. Ryan with not quite as big a lift as Adam. Comes to the second sector split, 56.8. Using third gear for the right-hander. Doesn't quite use all of that curb. Gets it round nicely. And through the Peraltada now. And up to the line, it's 16.2, so 3 tenths off Tamino. Next car to the line will be Greg to come into the pit lane, then the Alfa Romeo of Ayahuasca. Not somebody that features often in the NA scene, but here he is today. Pretty decent run through there, it looked like, as he'll put his foot down on the exit of the Peloton to come towards the line. So 17-0 puts it P3. Next it will be Padge to the line. He has turned his battery off and he's on for quite a slow one at the top right, so he might be on an in-lap. Yeah, he is. The Alpha Tower getting out of the way. I think that was FlamingoEagle getting out of the way. That was rather interesting. Flamingo having front wing damage. You can't cut the track, sir. That was an interesting sight. That guy doing race runs, as he's recently been seen doing, especially in qualifying. Was it quite akin to High on Spice that you might know from AT2? The other Aston will be coming to the line soon to start his lap of JJ. Then it will be the Alpine of J Clates and the Williams next to the line of Chivers, who has now, as you can see on the minimap, overtaken J Clates. Greg has now also come out the pit lane to go on his lap, and that guy has invalidated in the middle of the S section. We'll do an onboard lap, shall we, with JJ? Never mind. Sorry, I didn't realise it wasn't a lap. But JJ, I think, just getting to grips with NA. 82 staple driver. We'll see how he fares in one of his first few NA outings. He has been out here before, but not too often. As we'll not watch now Ayahuasca's top speed as well. He doesn't quite get to the same speed as Adam, but still gets there quite good. Nips the right hand side of the turn 3 curb. Staying on the exit curb 3 though. Right on board with the Alfa Romeo here as he breaks around the 100 metre board. He's 400ths up or so. Using second gear to get that rotation and short shift third for the traction nicely through turn 6. The Aston on the right hand side isn't exactly going to help his line through turn 7 now. Lots of people taking that inside curve. You can see with the grass becoming slightly more yellow. These two cars haven't exactly been a help for Ayahuasca on his lap. He's currently 2.5 tenths up nearly. Using fourth gear through the right hander. Bit deep in there, doesn't quite make the apex, and he'll take fourth gear and then back down to third again. Nice on traction. Let's see where this lap puts him. Ayahuasca improves to a 16.7 and puts him P4. Pretty decent lap, to be fair, from Ayahuasca. He's only half a tenth off that guy, but we'll have to wait and see. As Deflated getting quite a nice toe from Socks there. It'll be distracting into turn 1. That's a bit of a given, but at the same time, it's pretty decent from there. From Socks. Not the best of exits onto the second straight, I should say. To 28.6 for the first sector though. That's rapid for DeflatedWee. As he invalidates though. He's invalidated on the entry to turn 6. It's unfortunate for the Mercedes man. He'll probably keep going just so he can get a delta. Lots of drivers like to do that here. Just getting a delta down and not really doesn't really matter if you invalidate or not. Obviously, of course, he can just enter the pit lane again, but we will have to wait and see. Socks obviously on an out lap. And then will we see him coming into the pit lane? No, he'll stay out and get himself a lap time on the board. It's a 16.1, so he would have been P2. but did have the big helping of tow down the main straight. The Aston Martin coming to the line now of JJ, I think, and that was also the Alpine of J Clates with a 17.1, puts him P6. The other Mercedes comes to the line now of Sox, who to start a lap. I think this is FlamingoEagle next to the line. Yes, it is, and then it will be Tamino. As Flamingo puts himself P8 with a 17.6. We'll wait and see what Tamino's currently doing. He's a tenth and a half up at the second sector split. Not quite getting as good traction as Ayahuasca. But he does a 15.4. That is very good. Good evening, Steinos. Deflated hasn't set a lap yet, which is why he's down in P13, and he's only actually come out for one run. So yeah, not the easiest thing, and not the easiest track either. This one, lots very well known for track limits, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's Deflated now, coming round the Peraltada. He's going to come into the pit lane. Yeah, that's not a surprise, quite frankly. Sox is invalidated as well, so JJ coming through, going a bit deep through that hairpin. Not sure if he's going to start a lap or he's going to come in. Yeah, he's coming in. Lots of people on in laps right now, so there's not really a whole lot of action to be going on. Yeah. Not entirely sure what I can actually talk about and not. You guys may have seen earlier today, as I mentioned earlier as well, there was the F1 esports. So I mentioned earlier that some people might want to take their inspiration from some of those lines. However, lots of people not quite being able to keep it in track limits. It seems as there's an Aston Martin that goes quite deep in the background. And there's that guy. He's currently P3 right now. This grid could look quite weird without John, and Joseph, so don't be surprised if there's a shock somewhere. That guy powering down the main straight right now. Doesn't quite hit the same top speed as the others. 327 kilometers an hour, I think I saw there. And he's invalidated on the exit of turn 3. Lots of people seem to be doing that today. I don't quite understand it. I don't think it was actually that easy. But, that was something to behold, shall we say. But, there are currently no cars on a lap, technically. Obviously that guy is on a lap, but he has invalidated, so at best he should probably just come in at this stage. But currently looking like a Tamino pole position, as it has been for some time now, I believe. I do need to fact check that, but well, then it's time for a bullshit. I agree. Yes, it very much is, because there's nothing to talk about. Well, to be fair, we've got that guy on the lap now, and Greg, who are both quite far along on their laps. Greg, I can't quite tell if he's backed off because he's in a yellow flag zone. That guy getting pretty decent traction there. No, not quite. Never mind. Oh my days. Why are people going for it and then backing off? Greg's invalidated. Is everybody going to come out onto the track here? Yeah, everybody is now on track. All cars are on the track. JJ currently doing a prep lap, I think. Can't quite tell with that one. Lots of people tend to push on their outlaps, which personally I don't quite understand, but we'll have FlamingoEagle get us underway with the last flurry of laps. also going in quite quickly into turn 1. He's already going well above 330 kilometers an hour. FlamingoEagle could well be the fastest person in a straight line here today. It doesn't quite nip the turn 1 apex, nor the turn 2. Hits turn 3, keeps it in third for the exit of 3, keeps it on the curb, and it's now going to go down the straight again. Everybody thinks they are goats, but they aren't exotic mutant beyond the real goats. Well, you might want to get a podium finish but first, mate. No offense to you, I know you're quick, but on your day, but at the same time, it's like you still haven't got a podium. I'm sorry. Oh, as FlamingoEagle's binned it. FlamingoEagle is spun in the S section. So the next car to focus on will be J Clates coming through turn 6 now, who has gone off the track but not invalidated. That is odd. Ayahuasca has crashed on the exit of turn 3. So that is at best a P4 start for the Alfa Romeo man for tonight. J Clay's currently 3/10 down. FlamingoEagle will want to quickly get out of the way of everybody here. I got robbed from it in Singapore and Monza and got a sprint podium. Singapore was voided because of a lobby break, and Monza... We're talking this season, Monza. As we've now got people coming to the line again. Greg has popped it into P6 with a 16.88. Next car to the line will be the Williams of Chivers, who has invalidated. Would have had a 16.5. That would have put him only P4. The Haas next to the line of Adamski, he's only P9. Ryan next to the line does a 15.8. The two Mercedes next to the line, DeflatedWee followed by Socks. DeflatedWee only goes into third, and Socks has gone P12. Padge puts it now into P12. I think that's Tamino coming into the pit lane, and then the Aston Martin of JJ with an 18.6, but doesn't improve his position. Both actually. Singapore was after the race, decided nobody knew the race. To my knowledge, there was a safety car glitch. I wasn't there, so I don't remember, but I remember hearing about it. That is your wrap for qualifying for the NA tier at Mexico for this season. Now we need to do the numbers. Yeah, stonking lap for Tamino. He's put in a 15.470 to take pole position. Absolutely brilliant from the AlphaTauri man. He will be absolutely thrilled with that. Yep, there was, but it was after the race. I also forgot about Canada. Canada this season? Okay, well, you can't say that you would have had a podium if you got smashed. I'm sorry, but that's not quite how it works. No offense to you. I know your pace is good, but at the same time, there is no way that you would be able to tell. There is a lot of luck, both luck and strategy and pace that is needed to be able to win or take a podium, depending on what you're aiming for, based on your pace. Oh, sugar. Flamingo and Adam. I think this is Adam's first top 10 start of the year, if I'm remembering correctly. He is starting very much to be done. 81 is the one to really watch, though. If I'm being completely honest, the only race that's actually been chaotic this season in 81 was Monza. The only other one that I'd say was actually up there for entertainment was... I mean, yeah, France was good. What was the other one? Brazil. Brazil was a really good fight for the win. I know I enjoyed that as well. Maybe because I was in that, but I'm not even saying that from bias. I'm sure as a viewership point as well, that was really fun to watch. Let's hope so. That would be great. What is weather forecast for this race? I have no idea for the weather forecast, Tucker. Normally, as a streamer, we don't get told, so it's a bit difficult to know. At the moment, it does look a bit overcast. There's probably a bit of chance for rain, but we'll have to wait and see. And it's 58 now. Johnny B! Johnny B, good evening. You are alive. Are you feeling well after yesterday? Oh, you joined us just in time for the race, actually. They should be readying up in not too long, so yeah. Will be some good fun, I hope. And I hope for, well, for not too much chaos, obviously in 82. You yourself will know. There was quite a lot of chaos on Sunday, but hopefully not that level of chaos, because that was probably a bit much, to say the least, but enjoyable nonetheless. Shouldn't have too long to wait now, I hope. It says waiting for players, and there we go. As we go towards the 5 red lights now, and IIRL is underway for the no assist division at the Mexican Grand Prix. Tomino pulls off to the left-hand side to let everybody through. Not sure why he's done that. He might be doing a last to first challenge, but DeflatedWee and Ryan going side by side into the first corner. There's a Williams on the inside of Chivers, who's made it to the inside. DeflatedWee going around the outside and has come out on top of Ryan. Will be pinched for turn 3. There's Greg up into the podium, getting past Chivers, who's quite slow in the background, actually. That guy's kept his own in 4th. Ryan going around swooping around the outside to take the lead from Deflated. Deflated will have the inside for turn 6. A little bit of wheel banging, but Ryan will take the lead from Deflated with an absolutely stunning move on the outside of turn 4. That's when all of that chaos has left Greg up into P3. That guy holding P4. Chivers in P5, J-Clate's P6, Adam up into P7, Sock scoring valuable points for Mercedes, but DeflatedWee popping out to have a look for the lead, but not quite get there. Sock's in P8, Tomino already back up to P9, FlamingoEagle in P10, JJ in P11, as that guy has sent it on Chivers. Oh no, he's defending, excuse me. Padge down to P12, and Ayahuasca from what was P5 on the grid, I believe, is now down to P13. Is Deflated, has a look up the inside, goes past on the straight. They'll be side by side into turn 1. And Deflated uses a lot of curb there, but does just about get it done. That guy also getting past Greg in the background for P3. We'll pull up the tyres. That guy is the only car in the top 7 on mediums. Socks has also gone mediums, and Ayahuasca on mediums as well. They're the only cars on mediums, everybody else on hards. Hello, hello, yeah, much better, haha, but a bit... Fair enough, mate. Sunday was really a crazy race, but great to watch, never a dull moment. I agree, yeah. And also, going back to Ryan's move for that lead. Dear Lord, if that's not putting overtakes of the season, I will throw a riot. There's a Mercedes round of Socks in the background. Unfortunate for him, had a great start, was running up in P8. Couldn't quite keep it there. Unfortunate for the reserve, the Mercedes man for today. But Deflated putting a bit of a gap there. A little bit, but Ryan putting it back in the middle sector. What was that line? I know, right? Some of these guys are so weird. He might have got floor damage for that much curb. I doubt it, because I don't think that the damage level is that high. If I'm remembering right, I think it's only on reduce and the rate is standard. But I'll
I'll need to fact check that one. As Ryan now takes the inside, Deflated will line up the switchback and hope and get a better exit down into turn 4. He'll have a bit of the slipstream, pull to the outside of turn 4. Ryan chops him off though. But yeah, Ryan does take the lead. Oh, right, never mind that. Yeah, going back to that point. Yeah, there's not really... I don't think it's that much damage. But it will obviously have caused a danger to just the grip in general, because this track is quite... It's well known for being low grip. The moment you go offline, it's like in my app, as Ryan goes off, might got a warning there as Tamino also gets past Adam and Ayahuasca back past Flamingo. Sox has gone round again. Was catching Padge, but unfortunately couldn't quite get there. As DeflatedWee is now almost within 2/10. He'll have DRS, who's about to blast past on this straight here. Has the slipstream and the DRS, pulls to the right hand side. It's only been lap 4 and there's already been so much action. I'm losing my voice. Oh dear. This is what you get when you have a tired Willow. But Ryan sort of lining up the switchback there, but I don't think he'll quite have the straight line speed to compare with the DRS that DeflatedWee will have. Could be brave, damn dear on the brakes. He's turned into Daniel Ricciardo. Not driving the Alpine this year is Danny Rick, but yeah. Speaking of Danny Rick and speaking of real life, for those of you that haven't heard or have been living under a rock for some reason, Lando Norris finally getting his first race win in Miami last weekend. As a McLaren fanboy, this pleases me greatly. But no McLarens in this race, unfortunately, and no race at Miami. However, one thing that is consistent is the low grip surface. I think those of us that have driven this track can all agree. Yeah, FlamingoEagle already getting a 3-second penalty, most likely for track limits. I didn't quite see it myself, and I'll apologise to you for that one. But Ryan, 5/10 back at the start of the straight. He might need to burn to get deflated into turn 1. He could have possibly burned there, we don't know, because we can't see the telemetry, but Ryan does retake the lead into turn 1. This is going to be the most back and forth race I have ever seen in my life, and I can tell you that for a fact. Because these two, if not these three, are really closely matched on pace. FlamingoEagle's gone round, that's allowed JJ to get back up into P10. Padge will be ever closing on Flamingo for the next while now. And this is going to be crucial points for both Alpine and Mercedes. But it will be interesting to see what the Drivers' Championship looks like come the end of this race, provided these two finish where they are. Or finish similar to where they are. Tamino has yet to take Chivers. Ayahuasca now getting past Adamski, who has quite a big gap back to JJ down in P10 for Aston Martin. As both taking pretty weird, like this is going to be the same as Monza, they're just DRSing. Thomas will not get P1 with that safety car. You underestimate the pace of Tamino. You really do. That man is one of the most insane people I have ever driven against on this game. It might only be a 3-second gap now, as Chivers also has had a 3-second penalty for track limits, I believe. They're fighting into turn 1. And also, it may only be a 4-second gap now, but come the end of this race, Tamino's going to have such pace. I tell you this because I have seen it myself. That man in NA is a monster. And this is not even exaggeration. But, as I keep saying, we will have to wait and see. As we all know, never say never in Formula 1. But Tamino currently well on the back of Greg here, and also these two fighting up front, Shivers and Greg, has allowed Jay Clates and Ayahuasca and Adamski, as Ayahuasca has a very big snap off of that curb. Greg is defending quite well from Tamino, to be fair to him. But now for Tauri off, FlamingoEagle having spun. Chivers moves once to defend, as Ryan has also taken back the lead into turn 1. Greg with the DRS, Chivers moving to the middle of the road. Now becomes the attacking car. They're almost going to go 3 wide. This could end in tears if none of them are careful. However, it is Greg back to take P4. Chivers will now be susceptible to Tamino behind without the DRS. FlamingoEagle has retired in the pit lane. Tamino goes around the outside of turn 4, akin to Ryan's move from the start of the race, leaves Chivers just about enough room, and Tamino with a brilliant move up into P5. I saw his pace at Qatar and Monza. He was nowhere. Well, you say that Exotic isn't even doing that. Exotic did a last to first at Monza, so you think he can't make up that gap? Yes, there was a lucky safety car, but luck is also what you need. None of us can deny that. But Tamino getting pretty good traction out of there. Forever closing on Greg. He's already a 1/10.5 behind. He'll be using both battery and DRS to try and move past Greg. Chivers with the double slipstream and probably a bit more wings than them. They're going to go 3 wide. No, not quite into turn 1. But both Tamino and Chivers now get past Greg, and Chivers has remained where he is. There was an SC and there was some DRS. Yes, but at the same time, that's also what you need. You do just need that little bit of move. And into P4, not quite getting the exit, does Tamino. But he gets it on the exit of 6. And takes the inside of 7 into the S section, and Tamino takes P4. So he will now go chasing after that podium. It's an 8.2 second gap. That guy's tyres are going to drop off because he is on those mediums. The winning strategy today in F1 Esports, to be fair to them, was a soft medium. Which, if I'm being honest, really surprised me. I did not think that the softs would be lasting that much. Yes, that's exactly what I mean. I mean, that's like saying that I wouldn't have got P2. I think that the recovery drive that I had, excuse the lag, I'm really sorry. Not entirely sure what's going on with my Wi-Fi there. I'm really sorry about this, guys. Give me a minute or two. Not entirely sure why. My Wi-Fi just sometimes plays up. Yeah, really sorry about it, guys. Just tried something externally to hopefully try and tackle that. Yes. Did you not realise, mate? Yeah, when you see it in the lobby, it's CRE Avenicus, but that's my old username. The Tom guy? What? What do you mean, the Tom guy? I'm really confused. But now Tamino has broken DRS, and that guy is also quite close to being out. Deflated and Ryan still swapping and swapping. Greg has got past Shivers now, going towards turn 1. Deflated looking for the move on Ryan. Getting there. just before the entry to turn 4 has the line for turn 5. J-Clays has now got past Chivers as well. So Chivers falling through the field. He will anyway with that 3-second penalty. But it will be touch and go for whether he'll lose some more. That guy not quite falling out of DRS there. Greg has... I don't believe he'll get DRS down the next straight for it to be available. They are going through the S section now as Adamski has just had a bit of a moment there, I think. And he's now dropped off the back of this train, as has Ayahuasca, so maybe those two have come together. Who knows? But, JJ now 10 seconds off the back of Adamski, and Padge now 10 and a bit seconds off of JJ in P11. FlamingoEagle currently our sole DNF'd car, having retired in the pit lane, having, I think, spun twice. But Ryan does take back the lead, goes a little bit deep. Deflated will try and get the cut back. Ryan will have DRS though, as Adamski already comes into the pit lane. He might have possibly got front wing damage. Yeah, he has. So Adam will now need to try and convert this race of his into a 2-stop and hopefully try and recover some points. Chivers has now also got past J-Clates. But that gap was 9.1 seconds a lap or so ago from Tamino to that guy. So the pace will start coming down now for the front few. And perhaps, like I said, Tamino has got the pace. And he also has 25 laps left of this race to attempt to close back onto them. So, I said it before, we could yet see it. Steinos didn't believe me in chat. But the race at the moment is how it's looking. As DeflatedWee has now taken the lead back from Ryan with the DRS. Does the same thing that Ryan did last lap, but gets it in for turn 3 this time. We'll have the DRS out of it. Just need to make sure my tabs aren't all closing. But this could yet be one of the most interesting races that I think I've probably seen in No Assist for a while. Obviously, the last 6 races were won by John, because he has now got the official consecutive wins record. His insane pace allowing. Obviously, he is not here today, so that will be broken, no matter who finishes in first this race. However, it's still a fairly long way to go in this race. 24 laps or so. And Deflated with a pretty good exit out of the Peraltada. Ryan not quite getting that traction done, but with the DRS, the double dosage as well. That will take him... Sorry, by the way, I missed my Discord call and the stream sound. Okay. That makes sense now. Yeah, no worries, mate. But yeah, Ryan does take back the lead. This will just be a back and forth. I mean, it was said earlier, this will just be a massive back and forth now. With the DRS. Deflated going for the much wider lines through turns 3 and 4. Sox has now also got a track limits penalty. Chivers has also now got past Greg into turn 4. Also opts for the wider line. Greg could possibly come back in for turn 4 and does. Takes the inside, but Chivers will have the inside for turn 7. Greg decides to back out of that one. It's a wise move, otherwise there could have been some sort of collision. But all of that has allowed Ayahuasca to now close back up. And J-Clates, who had fallen off a bit of this train. Yeah, only 7 seconds now, separating that guy and Tamino. Adamski, having made his first pit stop, has now got back past Padge and will attempt to get past Socks as well now, as Deflated has also got back into the lead. Quite early on in the straight, you'd say, compared to last times, but yeah, as Ryan goes very wide into turn 2. Not sure if that was lag or whether that was a genuine mistake or not, as Adamski has now got back past Socks for P10. Deflated now with a 6/10 gap or so. It ever ranges from 5.5 to 6/10 to 5/10 and then back down again. It's forever changing. Yeah. Tamino. Oh! When did that happen? Tamino now with a 3-second penalty. I said this track was known for track limits. Better known than Kota at least. But my knowledge wasn't exactly up to scratch on that one. But Tamino now. Maybe that could thwart his challenge a little bit. Ryan now 7/10, it says up there on the left, on the tower, behind Deflated. I think if he wants to get back past Deflated here, he'll want to burn a little bit, but either that, or you can go for it on the second straight where it's probably a little bit more dangerous. But as we showed on the first lap, Ryan's not afraid to make a move. He dives for it into turn 1. Deflated will get the cut back again. There's a bit of a snap on the exit though, so that will allow Ryan to run away.
Adamski on the fresher side in the field has now dropped both Socks and Padge and will go chasing after JJ, who is already a pit stop behind J-Clates, as JJ has also now come into the pit lane from his hard tyres. He will probably go to the mediums, I think. Yeah, mediums, and either he's going for a very odd 2-stop or he's taking those mediums to the end of the race. Ryan has now grown a rather large gap to DeflatedWee there, almost 8.5 of a second. Deflated could possibly be out of DRS here. He's 9.5 nearly, as Ryan's made a mistake and it's brought Deflated back into it. Ignore everything that I've just said. DeflatedWee now very close to Ryan here, 4/10 back, 3.5, 3. And that will keep going down with the DRS and slipstream. And DeflatedWee will pull out to the right hand side and retake the lead again. I mean, this is making for great entertainment, but at the same time it's like, when will it stop? As there's a bit of contact there. Ryan to the back of DeflatedWee. That'll allow him to grow a bit more of a gap. He's already 7.5, 8/10 of a second. So we'll have to wait and see whether Ryan can recover that time. However, there aren't really any active battles on at the moment. At the moment, it's just for the lead. This play goes very wide there. That's a very odd line. As Ryan will have the DRS. He's only 8/10 down on his personal best lap time, so it's not actually that bad for the Mercedes man. Of course, if either of the front two win this, I think it'll be their second win of the season. However, if that guy wins this, I think that'll be his first win of the season. Obviously, don't quote me on that, because my memory, if any of you know me, my memory is absolutely horrible. But when it comes to F1, I think some would say my passion and my memory is unrivaled. Ryan, I don't quite think he's close enough to go for a move into turn 1. As Ayahuasca's now come in from his medium, so he'll be taking hards to the end from there. We'll look on board still from behind with Deflated. Will he be able to keep that Alpine behind him? He will. Interesting. So 7/10 isn't quite enough to make a move on Main Straight. We'll go to Ayahuasca now, because he's actually really close to Adam. Adam, obviously, on those 6-lap-old mediums, excuse me, has had quite the undercut, but with those older tyres, he's going to struggle to get those to the end. As also, Ayahuasca has DRS from being at the detection zone of Chivers, I think. As we'll now go back to the lead as they come onto the main straight for the 18th time. It is now the halfway point of this race, and some people will start thinking of coming in now, especially those medium runners, namely Socks, yet to come in still. Only one left on those mediums. Everybody else is on... Actually, no. Yeah, Socks and that guy yet to come in from their medium stint. Ayahuasca triggering the undercut, as Chivers, Greg and J-Clates have all decided to stay out. And amidst all that, Tamino has pulled as close back up to 4.9 seconds, 4.8 or so. I'll keep going back to that every now and again, but also with his 5 seconds? Hello? Willow, what are you talking about? 3 second penalty, unless of course that's increased. Chivers and Adamski both have 6 second penalties now, but yeah, Tamino with that 3 second penalty, that will not aid him in the slightest. Because he will, as DeflatedWee does the same thing that Ryan did about 12 laps ago. Yeah, as they now come onto the main straight for the 19th time. Ryan much closer than he was on previous occasions. Deflated, having a little bit of a wiggle. But Ryan does go past him. That guy closing and closing, but his mediums will be going off the cliff soon. As Greg and J-Clates trigger the undercut on Chivers. And they will, at this stage, fall probably behind Ayahuasca and Adam. But we'll have to wait and see where they come out. Right on board with Greg. And see where he comes out. There goes Adam. And they can't quite fend off the undercut. Ayahuasca now has a 4 and a bit second gap. Nearly a 5 second gap to Greg and J-Clates on those fresh mediums, but Ayahuasca on those hards. His tyre's going to last much, much longer. And now we'll go back to the front pack. Ryan has retaken the lead. I think he might have done that on the main straight. But will we see one of them decide to come in and trigger the undercut? No, we don't. That guy doing a monster stint on those mediums, taking them nearly 20 laps in this race. The Aston Martin picking up a major haul of points here. His Deflated pulls the inside quite late. Doesn't quite get there. But will it have been enough to scare Ryan off, or will he have just screwed himself over a little bit? Chivers now comes into the pit lane to fend off the undercut from Greg and J-Clates. They have both caught the back of Adam into the final sector. Ryan taking it very tight through turn 5 there. Ayahuasca puts himself up into P5. We'll see where Chivers comes out. Is he ahead of that pack? He's with them. He's jumped J-Clates. But J-Clates possibly going for the move. On the inside, can't quite get there. Takes a lot of curb and tries to go for the switchback. Chivers on those cold tyres. J-Clates is burning, but a little bit, but I don't think he'll quite be able to get there on Chivers, which is unfortunate. Chivers going for a very late one on Adam. Excuse me. But not quite being able to get there. Ooh, sticking his nose in, hits the curb, possibly pushed Adam off there. That could be a look from the stewards post-race, maybe. Mr. Deflated has also taken the lead away from Ryan again. Ayahuasca's undercut himself into P5. The gap from himself to Tamino, though, is 30 seconds. So I think that's this top 4 rather wrapped up from here on out, if I'm being completely honest. With those fresher tyres, they will be quite hard to topple. But they're still going, and there's 15 laps left in this race. If anybody decided to go any longer, they could possibly take a set of softs to the end, but I don't personally think that would be quite wise. The softs, in my opinion, at least, run like mush around here, as Padge also comes into the pit lane now. Socks and that guy are the only ones left on the medium tyres yet. Could they... As Padge has also gone on to another set of mediums, I do kind of want to quickly check race director so we know what tyres. Padge has gone to from hards to mediums, and Socks has now also got a 3-second penalty. As that guy has come in and triggered the undercut on these two cars in front, Shivers gets 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. How's he managed that? Oh, that's the... Oh. Excuse the notification lag. I'm sorry, guys. Oh dear. As the Ferrari of Padge does now get out of the way for the blue flags. Unfortunate for Padge. He's the first car to get lapped, and I think that Socks might do as well. Because Socks is also yet to come in. Bear in mind, these two are also yet to come in, as that guy's also gone on to another set of softs. Or a set of softs, excuse me. That'll be interesting to see if he can take those to the end. I thought that the softs ran like mush around here, which is why I would never think of doing a medium soft. In F1 Esports today, they did a soft medium. That was a winning strategy. That was a strategy of, I think, the top 3. As Ryan Deflated is still staying out. And as has Tamino, so this should be really interesting. This could open them up to the undercut from that guy. If we go gap to leader, that guy is only 18 and a bit seconds, nearly 19. But Deflated does take the lead back from Ryan. We'll have the DRS down into the next corner. Socks has also gone onto a fresh set of softs as well. We'll have to wait and see where that puts them. We'll go back to gap to leader. See, the gap to leader will keep going up in the straights because that guy won't have DRS. As what on earth was happening back there? I don't know whether I was just seeing things, as Padge has also got a 3-second penalty now. But yeah, this could be rather interesting. Tamino is now within 2 seconds of the cars in front. Deflated. We're still yet to see these two coming in. Deflated last season in 81, for example, he did the 2-stop to try and fend off me, but unfortunately didn't quite work for him. Still the top 3 don't come in. What on earth is their plan? They're very prone to being undercut now by that guy, but their tyres are going to be much fresher by the end. So we'll have to wait and see what they do. Ryan sticks behind with the DRS. That guy says the fastest lap of this race, 1:18.3. As Tamino is now, having been nearly 10 seconds back, is now pretty much within DRS. This is a really impressive drive from the Czech in the AlphaTauri, but will the pace hold? In my opinion, I think it will. I think the Tamino could very much be within a shout of this race. Win. Excuse me. But I think that they should all be a bit worried about that guy's undercut. 2 laps, and even within 1, you can still gain about 5 seconds. It'll be quite tight come the end, I would think. As DeflatedWee... Ooh! As Tamino has stayed out, but Ryan possibly cutting the pit entry there? I don't know whether that was... I don't know whether that will be looked at or penalised or something along those lines, but that was a very late call from Ryan to come into the pit lane. That guy now in the net race lead by 8 seconds. He'll want to be... Well, he had a very similar pace to those two behind him now. And if they keep fighting, I don't think they'll catch that guy, if I'm being honest. We'll stay with Tamino to see if he comes into the pit lane, but with that 3-second penalty, that could very much scupper his chances. As Chivers is now also fighting Greg through turns 4 and 5. I don't quite show that to you yet, as Tamino goes sliding his way through the hairpin. And will he come in this lap? He will. Tamino makes the... Well, that's very much scuppered his chances of winning this race. That is the commentator's curse if I've ever seen it. Tamino, coming into the pit lane, has hit the pit entry wall and lost his front wing. As we see a move in the background, Ryan going through on deflated. That will have really screwed Tamino's chances in this race. He's almost going to be coming out behind Chivs and Greg, and he is. I don't think he'll quite get jumped by J-Clates, but that is a horrible timing.
Rip Cursor. I agree. Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh,
I'm so mad.
oh no, I've cursed the driver, it's happened. It's not the first time it's happened this season though, that's the funny thing. It's happened before. As Adamski now comes in for a new set of softs, he'll go chasing after J-Clates possibly, but he'll come out ahead of JJ. As Ryan deflated, have 10 laps to catch 7 seconds to that guy. With 3 lap fresher tyres, it's not impossible, as there's a move down here. Tamino getting past Chivers. Ryan sets a fast lap 17.3. Obviously aided by the DRS, but still. That's a mega lap time. Deflated also gets back past him on the main straight. Tamino, with those much fresher tyres and a new front wing to boot, he'll be sailing past Greg. Not quite, actually. Tamino having quite high wings, it seems, and he's trapped in sort of the same position that he was earlier. Almost chopping across the front of Chivers there. That was really close. Dear my word. He'll go chasing after that fastest lap now, and that P4 that Ayahuasca currently holds. That guy also coming up to some lapped traffic in the form of Padge. Could we see some luckily timed DRS here? And could we also see it with socks? We never know, but it is possible. We'll wait and see for the rear wing to open. He hasn't quite got it. There's an Aston Martin off, that's JJ at turn 3. As Ryan will now go chasing after deflated into turn 1 and does get that move done. I feel like if people watch back the VOD, people can be like, why does he not have a reaction to Tamino just plunging his nose into the wall? The thing is, right, I don't want to laugh, but as funny as of an occurrence that it is, but at the same time, like, come on. And also, it's just like, You know that meme that's like, my disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined? That was basically my reaction to that. Oh no. So if you're wondering why I didn't really have a reaction to that, that's why. Sox has now also got back past JJ. JJ coming into the pit lane, presumably for a repair of something, possibly, or maybe just a new set of tyres to get used to the NA scene. Yeah, he puts on the soft tyres. And with only 7 laps to go, Deflated and Ryan are still fighting, but they're still able to keep closing on that guy. I think a lot of that will be down to the tyre deficit, but when their tyres go off the cliff, that gap will probably stop coming down a bit. I said that no matter what happened, I was going to say, no matter what happened, or happens, we are going to have, well, I say a shock winner. That guy has been on a really good run of form. Deflated is the Season 5 AT1 champion, and Ryan won earlier this season and has been consistently up there since Season 5, as far as I'm aware, if not longer. So, and also that guy, a little fun factoid for you here, that guy actually has a Constructors' Championship to his name. I don't know how well known that fact is, but yeah, that guy has claimed a Constructors' Championship. I don't quite remember who with. But as we move on to lap 30, the Aston Martin will soon have an Alpine and a Mercedes breathing down the back of his neck. The gap is only not even that, a tenth and a bit to DRS. 2 tenths, 3 tenths. But with the DRS, that gap will keep on closing and keep on closing, and then from here it will just be DRS train to the end. Sox getting another 3-second penalty. Unfortunate for the Mercedes in P10. Excuse me. Not a fantastic race for Ferrari at the moment. Currently sitting in P7 and P11. It's not quite what you hear often these days, as Sox has now spun it. Which is unfortunate for the Mercedes man, but hey ho, here we are. As we do now have DRS from Ryan to that guy. And Deflated is also very close to being out of DRS. Has he missed the activation zone? And Ryan will now run to take the lead. Deflated does not have DRS, which you can see in the background. He will be pushing to try and get back in there. But 4 tenths is now the gap, as Tamino has also now pit again and retired from the race. He was running in P4, that would have been some really good points for him. But that does mean that everybody from Ayahuasca downwards will now move up 1 place. Which is rather interesting. That guy now also more than a second behind. I think Ryan might have this race wrapped up, if I'm being real. That yellow flag in Sector 1 from Tamino's retired car could cause some issues yet. Ooh, as Ryan makes a big twitch into the hairpin there. Could that guy be back within DRS? I think he might be, you know. We'll look backwards from that guy. Will he have the DRS? Look for the letterbox in the rear wing. He does have it. That's really interesting. I did not think that... Well, after Ryan's mistake, you never know. It could have been. But also, I think...
Was that Ryan flashing for a second there? I couldn't quite tell.
But that guy's tyres are very, very degraded at this stage. Jesus Christ, excuse me. is now, well, almost certainly going to be out of DRS here. Unless Ryan makes another mistake, which, having seen this race, Ryan has been a bit twitchy. And also those softs are going to be very, very degraded at this stage. So, could see it still. We never know. But those two, the Aston and the Mercedes, both flashing now. Now the only way that guy would be able to have DRS now is if Ryan makes a mistake, and I don't think he has it. So it will be up to DeflatedWee to get the best exit he can, use the DRS and what little battery he has left to go chasing after the Alpine and see if he can wrench away a race win that looked extremely close at the start of the race. But Ryan's tyre wear seems to be a bit better than Deflated's on the soft.
Yeah, he retired in the pit lane, Steiners.
But he clawed it back. Yeah, Torino clawed it back from a 9.5 second gap or so to be within the fight for P3, and then made the mistake into pit lane.
But,
yeah, pulling off to the side of the road, maybe not the best of his ideas. Deflated, I don't think he'll quite have the pace over Ryan, and also Ryan has, as you can see, Deflated flashing there, and Ryan isn't, so the only thing at this stage that could take the race win away would be a track limits penalty, as Ryan is looking to have slowed down a little bit in the final sector there. DeflatedWee closing up quite a lot through the Peraltada as well. But not much doing. With 2 laps to go, this looks to be all but wrapped up for the Alpine. There's not really much to focus on now. All the chaos was at the start of the race. It's kind of annoying me now. There's so much action as Padge has also got past Socks. We'll check the penalties. Chivers with 17 seconds of penalties. That's an impressive tally if I've ever seen it. Adamski and Socks both on 9 seconds, which would also mean that Socks will lose out to JJ. Which is unfortunate. Chivers getting another 3-second penalty and getting his tally up to 20 seconds. Ooh, there was a big snap there for that guy, I'm pretty sure I just saw. DeflatedWee still closing down. And his pace through the final sector seems to be a bit better than Ryan's as well. But as I said earlier in the stream, never say never in Formula 1. Can't quite yet rule this out for Deflated. He's closing up on traction all the time. But Ryan, I think he has just that little bit more battery so that he won't quite lose out to the Mercedes man.
hey guys, good evening, Ritz. You join us at the back end of the race this time. Yeah, it's been a bit of a chaotic one. My bad. No, don't worry about it, mate. I'm not trying to accuse you of anything, I'm just making a comment, shall we say. DeflatedWee now is dropping quite a bit through that first sector there. Maybe Ryan made a mistake earlier last lap and we weren't able to catch it. But no, DeflatedWee just seems to be quite the ways faster in the middle sector. Chivers also gets past Ayahuasca on the road. Obviously, with his penalty count, that will not stay. But yeah, Deflated seems to be really good in the final sector, coming through sectors 2 as well. Sectors 2 and 3, but I don't think it's quite enough. Ryan also flashing now, to be fair to him. Gap now 1.1. But I think Ryan just has that slight advantage on the wings.
That means that he won't lose out in a straight line. The gap is now 1.1 and a half, 1.1, 1.0. Could we yet see a last gasp dive? You never know. Never say never in Formula 1. We all know this. But at the same time, looks to be all but wrapped up for the Alpine, as it has been for the last couple laps. When he broke free of the DRS of that guy, I think that was pretty much all it confirmed. He hasn't looked back. He hasn't looked back from the race win. DeflatedWee does get within a second, but it won't quite be enough. He's driven a brilliant race today, and this will be closer to P2 in the championship for both Ryan and Deflated. But the Alpine comes out on top. It's Ryan who takes the win from Deflated. That guy coming home for another P3, as all three of them have driven an absolutely fantastic race today. Shame for Tamino. Was looking forward to seeing what his pace would throw up. Obviously, with the crash into the pit lane, couldn't quite see it. Sox loses out to both Padge and JJ on penalties. So that means that Chivers will be next to the line. Spins it out the final corner. Ayahuasca coming home P4 and Chivers P5. Chivers? Hello? Greg P5. Chivers P6. Will lose out to Jake Lates on penalties. But Adamski matches his best result of the season so far. Last time he was in the sprint, but now he's in the race. So he'll be scoring 4 points for Haas.
Yeah, what a thoroughly enjoyable race that was.
Oh, hello. Goes into the wall. What a brilliant way to end a brilliant race, huh? Ah. Yeah. GG's to everybody all round. That was a phenomenal race. I mean, the thing with that is that we haven't had an American in a Ferrari screwing off into the distance every race. Sounds familiar to a certain Dutchman in real life, huh?
Hot takes, but yeah, no, brilliant race driven from both Ryan, Deflated, and from all three really in the top echelons of this race. Nothing taken away from them.
But yeah, that is your wrap for today for the NA race, penultimate race of the season. There goes my controller.
Oh dear. So it's Ryan who takes the win from Deflated and that guy, followed by Ayahuasca, the top four staying basically as they are after Tamino had dropped to the back of the field. Greg coming home P5 with some good points versus Mercedes, 4 for Ferrari. Jake Late's coming home in P6. Chivers dropping to P7 on penalties. Adamski with a brilliant P8. Padge in P9. JJ getting his first points in NA, I believe, for P10. Sox in P11. Tamino in P12, having unfortunately crashed on the pit entry. And FlamingoEagle DNFing early on. So, yeah, that is your wrap, everybody. Thoroughly enjoyable race. I hope you guys enjoyed it at home too. We'll be back next week for the finale in Hungary. Going to be a chaotic one, that's for sure. As I said earlier, AC1 last season had some rain in Hungary, so we'll have to wait and see if that comes around again. There haven't really been many wet races this season, if I can remember correctly. But we'll have to wait and see. I should be back streaming next week. And yeah, I will hopefully see you guys then. Bye-bye.